Listen, what if I told you that the biggest changes in your life will never come from explosive moments, viral luck, or an overnight transformation? What if the real secret is not a sudden event, but a tiny habit repeated until it becomes unstoppable? This is not a speech about willpower. This is a manual for building a life by design, a roadmap for turning micro-actions into massive results. Imagine improving just 1% every day. That sounds small, almost useless, until you do the math. 1% compounded, day after day, becomes a completely different life in a year. That's the power of atomic habits, small changes that accumulate into extraordinary outcomes. Now listen, the first truth you must accept is this: your habits don't shape your future by accident. They shape your identity. The people who change their life the fastest don't start with goals. They start with who they want to become. Say it: I am the kind of person who _____. That tiny sentence rewires your brain. If you're trying to quit smoking, don't say, I'm trying to quit. Say, I don't smoke. If you want to be a writer, don't say, I want to be an author someday. Say, I write. Identity is the North Star, behavior is the map. When your identity shifts, the actions follow. But identity needs proof. That proof comes from tiny wins, from showing up for 2 minutes, from completing the smallest version of the habit so you can point to evidence you kept a promise to yourself. So stop waiting to feel like the person you want to be. Start by acting like them in the smallest way possible. Now let's break the machine down, for laws that turn habits into a system you can engineer. Law 1, make it obvious. If you want a new habit, design the cue. Environment is the silent pull on your behavior. Place your guitar where your hands find it. Leave a water bottle by the couch. Write specific implementation intentions. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. in my kitchen, I will do 10 push-ups. Don't say, I'll exercise more. That's vague and deadly. Plans must be specific. When you script the when and where, your brain stops looking for permission and starts taking action. Stop blaming motivation. Arrange the room so the right choice stares you in the face every time. Law 2, make it attractive. You won't stick with what's boring. Link what you must do with what you want. Reward yourself by bundling. Only listen to your favorite podcast while you run, only sip that special tea when you are reading a chapter. Temptation bundling converts discipline into desire. And surround yourself with people whose habits you admire. You are the average of the habits of the 5 people closest to you. If they read, you will read. If they grind, you grind. Find that culture and step in. Law 3, make it easy. The path of least resistance wins. Reduce friction for good behaviors and increase friction for bad ones. Want to stop doom scrolling at night? Log out, delete the app, make the action require extra steps. Want to write every day? Put the notebook on the pillow. Start with the 2-minute rule. Any habit can be scaled down to a 2-minute version. Read 1 page. Meditate for 1 minute. Put the shoes on and step outside. The point is to start the ritual. Momentum follows the ritual. Kill the barrier to start and the rest follows. Law 4, make it satisfying. The brain repeats what it enjoys. Track progress. Cross days off a calendar. Use a visual ledger where small wins become visible and addictive. Reward yourself in tiny, immediate ways that don't sabotage the goal. Celebrate the micro victories. The first time you string together a week of wins, you'll feel different. The secret of sustained change lies at the end of that habit loop: cue, craving, response, reward. Manipulate the cue, rewire the craving, reduce the friction of response, and deliver a satisfying reward, and you will create a habit that sticks. But here's the part most people miss: self-control is overrated. The real skill is not to willpower through temptation. It's to shape your environment so temptation rarely appears. If you want different behaviors, change the context. We are predictably irrational creatures. Put the cookies out of sight and you'll not eat them as often. Move your phone across the room and you'll sleep better. Design your life like an architect designs a building. Remove the cues that trigger bad behavior. Add the cues that trigger good behavior. Make the path to the life you want inevitable. Now listen to a truth that hits hard: habits don't make you perfect. They don't need to. They make you consistent. And consistency builds compounding returns. James Clear proves it with the story of the cycling team that improved by marginal gains, tiny tweaks to seats, tire prep, temperature. The result was a national transformation. The hero moves in small increments. The same goes for mastery. To become great, you must embrace boredom. Most quit when the habit turns routine and the initial dopamine fizz fades. Champions persist. They love the process of improvement, not just the result. Another truth: mistakes are expected. Failure is data. If you fail, analyze. Learn. Iterate. The worst thing you can do is freeze. Adjust the plan and start again. Don't confuse being busy with being effective. Focus beats busyness every time. That brings us to systems versus goals. Goals set direction, but systems create progress. Winners obsess over the system, the schedule, the pre-commitments, the small actions repeated relentlessly. Don't draw a dream board and call it a system. Build the habit loops that will carry you there. Now, let's be practical with the tactics that actually work. First, habit stacking. Anchor the new behavior to something you already do. After I make my coffee, I will write one paragraph. Tiny. Obvious. Powerful. Second, habit tracking. Use a simple journal or an app. Cross the days. Seeing the chain is motivating. Visual loss hurts. You don't want to break the streak. Third, implementation intentions, the when/where script we already discussed. This is how most people who succeed actually do it. Fourth, the 2-minute rule: commit to the smallest version and let momentum take over. Fifth, temptation bundling and environment engineering: make good choices easy, bad choices friction-filled. Sixth, accountability partners: tell someone, set up check-ins, build a social constraint that raises the cost of quitting. The presence of immediate consequences is an accelerant for behavior change. And here's an advanced principle: identity-based habits. Instead of, I want to run 5K, say, I am a runner. Do the actions that person would do. Habits are votes for the type of person you want to be. Every tiny action is a ballot. The sum total is your identity. Cast wisely. Another advanced practice: deliberate reflection. Every week, review the wins, the friction points, and ask, what one small tweak will improve the habit by 1%? That's the marginal gains mindset applied to your life. Keep iterating. Keep compounding. And now the reality check: it's not glamorous. Real change is rarely dramatic. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's discipline wrapped in tiny rituals. But it builds unshakable momentum. When the world around you is chaotic, your habits are the internal weather that never changes. They keep you steady, focused, and moving forward. Let me give you a few micro actions you can do right now. 1. Choose one habit you want and shrink it to 2 minutes. Write down the when and where. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the kitchen, I will do 2 minutes of stretching. 2. Identify one environmental cue you can change today: move your phone, place a book on your pillow, remove snacks from the counter. 3. Pick one accountability move: tell a friend, post it publicly, set a daily check-in. Do these 3 before dinner. That small execution will change your next 30 days. Finally, understand the power of identity compounding. Small habits produce evidence that changes your beliefs. Your beliefs change your identity. Your identity changes your behavior. Your behavior creates outcomes. The loop is unstoppable if you seed it well. So stop waiting for extraordinary motivation. Engineer your environment. Stack tiny wins. Count the days you showed up, not the grand visions you imagined. Be patient. Compound interest on habit is silent but lethal in its impact. In 5 years you will be the sum of the tiny decisions you made each day. Choose them wisely. Decide who you want to be. Prove it to yourself with tiny actions. Design the room where that person lives. Make the cue obvious, the action attractive, the start as easy as 2 minutes, and the finish satisfying. Repeat. Track. Persist. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect moment. You need a system that makes progress inevitable and a mindset that honors the slow, steady route. This is the atomic strategy: tiny habits, engineered environments, identity-based focus, relentless iteration. Build it, and your life will follow. Now go do the smallest thing on your list. Do it right now. Start your chain, and don't break it. 1% today becomes your life tomorrow.